visiting the Gold Coast for the first holiday, I would say just beware because you might not want to leave. You might want to stay. So definitely a beautiful place to be at. The food, the people, the scenery is great. I would definitely encourage you guys to come out. Bringing your family here to the nice sanctuary is also just amazing as well. So I think it's just a great place. This has definitely been one of the best experiences that I've had so far at the Gold Coast. I would recommend everyone come out and check it out because I'm loving it so far.
Seeing the koalas with our little koalas.
The NBL Blitz rolls on, and it's great to have your company on KO and around the world for what has been a fantastic event so far. And we've just seen a really, really good game between the Brisbane Bullets and Melbourne United. Now we turn our attention to the Perth Wildcats and the Illawarra Hawks, who unveil their newest recruit for the first time tonight. I'm Jack Heverin, Alice Kunek in commentary alongside me. Not only a WNBL champion, won a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games in this very venue, Alice.
A gold medal, actually.
Sorry.
Gold medal.
Sorry, gold's a lot better than bronze, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was crazy coming back in here today and seeing the stadium and thinking, oh my gosh, this is where we won a gold medal. But, you know, super excited to be on the other side of this and commentating this game. You know, we just saw Brisbane get over Melbourne United and they're looking very impressive early on. But another really impressive game here today. Obviously, Darius Days coming to the lineup for Illawarra Hawks. I'm sure we're going to have a great game.
Interesting story, Darius Days, and we'll see him in just a moment on screen right now. So Illawarra took it right to the very end with Gary Clark. They tried for as long as they possibly could to have him re-sign for this season. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And then they play a warm-up game against Shanghai. Darius Days has a really good game, and they decide that that's the guy they want.
Well, I can see why they tried to keep Gary Clark. He was so impressive last year. He was such a big piece of what they did and their resurgence back to, you know, nearly finals. And what luck for him. I mean, you know, sometimes basketball is a little bit of luck, and, you know, he's a great player. He's played a little bit of NBA. He's obviously playing for the Shanghai Sharks, and he must have had an impressive performance. But, you know, we're super excited to see him today and have him in our country. You know, basketball is growing every day.
And the good news for him is he wasn't eligible to play the first game, wasn't cleared. Found out at shoot-around today that he was available. So even from his mindset, he wasn't sure that he'd be playing tonight. Now he is. We've seen Illawarra once. They played against Southeast Melbourne on Sunday, 112-93. They won that game. They put on 38 points in the second quarter.
Oh, they were impressive. They put on an absolute offensive clinic, and, you know, they've got scorers from 1 through to 5, and their bench, you know, you've got Hickey coming on and shooting. You've got Harvey shooting at such an impressive clip, and now you're adding Darius Days to that lineup. I think Illawarra are really going to turn some heads again this season. They're an impressive team. Justin Tatum's going to have them for the full season this season. You know, he's able to put his mark on his team straight away. Obviously, it's only his second game coaching them. But, you know, I think they're going to be really impressive this season.
They take on the Perth Wildcats, who played New Zealand on Sunday. 108-102 was the score in that game. Not a lot of defence in that game, if we're being truthful. The defence was the thing that surrounded the stadium on Sunday. It was very offensively minded, that game, but good hit out for the Wildcats, who have played quite a few games already.
They have, and you know, you can tell that they've really tried to keep their core together. You know, they've kept, you know, they wanted to keep their main 5 together. They've added athleticism, they've added IQ. That's what they really wanted to do in the off-season. You know, a John Riley team is going to be a team that plays together. They play disciplined. Bryce Cotton, one of the most impressive people in the basketball planet, especially in Australia. You know, we know what he's going to do day in and day out. So, you know, they're going to have a little bit more games behind them, but I still think Illawarra are really going to put it to them today. They're obviously going to want to play hard. They're going to want to win this game, and a nice dunk by Darius Days there in the corner. But yeah, there wasn't much defensive motivation out here, and we want to see points on the board. But I'd love to see a little bit more defence, Jack.
Yeah, and I think, would it be fair to say that for both coaches, particularly John Riley in the way that he coaches, that would there have been a discussion, okay, look, Sunday was fine and we all got our shots up, but let's tighten up a little bit defensively tonight. Do you think that would have been spoken about?
You've got to practice what you preach, and you've got to practice to play the right way in a game. And I can't imagine John Riley would be coming out of that game thinking, I'm super impressed the way we played, because we just gave up way too many. And full credit to them, they were able to turn it on at the end of the game. You know, Bryce came on, he went in Bryce mode, and they were able to beat the New Zealand Breakers. But you've got to set the tone early, and especially in the preseason. This is where you set your good habits. This is where the habits shine through in the season. So in, you know, when you're tired and it's January, February, and you've got miles under your belt and you're tired, and you know, you've got to stick to what you know, and defense should be what you know.
So a couple of minutes away from tip-off, we can tell you Wildcats fans that Dylan Windler won't be playing tonight because of an ankle issue. Ty Webster also feeling a little unwell, so the Wildcats just made the decision to keep him away from the group, so he won't be out there tonight. For Illawarra, pretty much full strength. Dan Greeter carrying a bit of an injury at the moment, so he won't be out there. So again, as we said, Alice, with Darius Days, this is pretty much a full-strength Hawks lineup now.
It is, and it gives Justin Tatum a chance to see what his teams are really going to look like. You know, he came in late. He came in the season. Last season wasn't late, but, you know, he didn't have his full team.
Yeah.
He didn't have the roster that he picked, that he wanted to coach. And, you know, full circle moment. He's able to pick his team. He's got the last piece of his puzzle in Darius Days. You know, he's an impressive scorer. We can't wait to see him in Australia, and I can't wait to see what they produce today. Ben
Henschel starting again for Perth. They've been over and played in Japan 3 games. Ben Henschel started pretty much every one of those games as well. I wonder whether, when we get to round 1 and Perth play on the Friday night against South East Melbourne, I wonder whether Ben Henschel starts in that first game. What do you think?
Well, I hope so for him. He's had a great off-season. I watched him play with the emerging boomers in Japan, and I was really impressed with his growth and his development. And we know last season, you know, I'm sure he would have liked to have had a few more minutes, but they are a stacked roster. They've got so much talent, so much depth, but he's had a good off-season. He's spent some time with the emerging boomers and the boomers. You know, he was at the training camp, and, you know, I would love to see him get that recognition and get that start, and I know John really believes in him.
I think there's a few Perth fans who are pretty keen to see more minutes from Ben Henschel this season as well. Hashtag NBL25 on social media. You can drop us a question. Basketball related mostly, of course, and we'll answer those across the night as well. And if you have just joined us, Brisbane defeated Melbourne earlier tonight, 111 to 104. We'll talk about that game across the night as well. There's Tyler Harvey.
I know he's looking for Derek Rucker because he wasn't in his top 15. He's still mad about it. He's still mad. Geez, what a list that really caused some issues.
There's actually not a corner that Derek can turn without a player trying to find him at the moment.
The tension in the building.
Yep. Even Milton Doyle, placid old Milton Doyle,
didn't even give him a handshake.
Just looked at him and just gave him absolutely zero.
Didn't expect that from him, but great player nonetheless.
Now the Blitz rolls on here at the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre. It's all proudly brought to you by Experience Gold Coast, wonderful supporters of this event and Australian hoops. And Keanu Pinder, impressive in Perth's first game.
He has been really impressive, and I love his athleticism. I love his passion and the way he plays the game, and just the way he attacks the rim every single time. But I think the next development of his game is finding that poise as well as that aggression.
Here he is at the top of the key. We know the 3 ball's in his arsenal. That wasn't far away.
If he can knock that down at a great clip, that just adds another element for the Perth Wildcats, another depth that they can go to.
So what are you looking for from a Wildcats perspective tonight, Alice? What's 1 or 2 things that you'd love to see before the end of this game?
Maybe a little bit more defense. A little bit more defense, if I'm
You're really strong on that, aren't you?
Brutally honest. No, I just know that a John Rillie team is a well-drilled team, and I know that I hold them in such high regard, and John Rillie in the way he coaches. And nice shot by Tyler Harvey, but Darius Days is in the building.
He's a big boy.
He's entered the group chat. He's entered the NBL group chat. He is here.
He's a big, strong man, Darius Days too.
But we know how good Perth can be, and we know that they run their offense really well, and Bryce is nice start by Ben Henschel, and that's what we want to see, and that's going to keep him in this starting lineup if he can knock down shots.
Froley rolls to the basket and gets upstairs. Had such a great NBL 24 season, Sam Froley. 15 points in game 1.
Now, is he in NBA talk? We hear a lot of talk.
You tell me.
I think he is. If Lockie Ulbricht's in NBA talk, which I think he should be, by all means, absolutely. I think Sam Froley should be as well. He's a solid player. He gets his numbers, probably a little bit less than Damon Larry would like, but...
He's a hard man to please, Damon Lowry.
It's a tough gig to get 20 and 20 every game. I'm not sure what the stats were, but I think he should definitely be in NBA talk. And like I said, I watched him when he played in Japan for the emerging Boomers, and I was more than impressed. Just his stature, he's strong, he's long. He's a great player.
Henschel off the inbound, fouled.
The new generation of players, I just love the way they play with confidence, and the next generation coming through, they don't play with any fear, and I think that's really going to hold our game in the future of Australian basketball in really good stead.
Listen to you, all experienced, and you've been around the traps. Now you're talking about the new generation, the youngsters of today.
I'm a 90s baby, Jack. I'm the older generation, unfortunately. I won't say my age. My body tells me every day. No, I'm kidding. Ben Henschel able to knock down those two. Good start for him.
Days has got a big presence inside. Slightly different player perhaps to Gary Clark, but so far in the first few minutes looks comfortable.
I've been impressed. It'll just be with Illawarra how they feel each other out. Where does the ball go? Where does the ball go when we need a three-point shot? Where does the ball go when we need an inside presence? What plays do we run? They've got scoring power all the way through. So it'll just be how they can work together and how they can find the rhythm and play as a team. And we know that Justin Tatum will really instill that in them. But I think once that clicks for them, I think they're going to be a very hard team to stop.
Just repeating the news, Ty Webster not playing tonight with illness. Dylan Windler, a huge off-season recruit for Perth, won't be playing, as well as Keanu Pinder. Almost closed the lid on that one.
I know that didn't go down for Ben Henschel, but that's the right read. He came off the on-ball, he read the defender, and that was the right shot for him to take.
Cotton on the free throw line.
I don't think we give Bryce Cotton enough credit,
I was just about to say, I feel like I've run out of things to say about him, but I could talk about him forever.
Honestly, so could I. Just the way that he makes it look easy. His shot creating and shot making ability is something we really haven't seen in this league, how impressive he really is. And, you know, he's always defending as well. It's not like he's having a rest on the defensive end. He is up, he's in. He's playing the system, but the way he can, you know, attack the rim and make those tough shots day in, day out, it's very respectable.
Even on Sunday, in their first game, 15 free throw attempts. Only shot the three ball 3 times, but got to the line on 15 separate occasions.
Guys, it's 2024. Let's stop fouling Bryce Cotton on the three. I've said it now. I've said it now. Unlucky by Sam Froling. I think he nearly had a case there, but official says no.
Look on the replay here. 2 of the premium Australian big men going head-to-head, Sam Froling and Keanu Pinder. And as Froling checks out, Lockie Olbrich. We talk about buzz young players in the competition. This 20-year-old from South Australia, Alice, by the end of this season, I wonder what sort of conversation we're having about him.
The conversation's been... Tough shot. The conversation's been super positive so far. He's had a great off-season. You know, he got the finals MVP in New Zealand League. He got the full season MVP in the New Zealand League. And for someone of that age, that's very impressive. So I'm sure we're going to be having a very different conversation at the end of this season. And, you know, all you need is opportunity. You have opportunity, you take that opportunity and you make something of it. And I think he's ready to do that.
We saw it in their first game. Could you see a world where Froling and Olbrich start together?
I think I could. You know, they're obviously two big men. You need to have someone probably to pass a little bit the ball. But if you could put that into his game or put that into Sam Froling's game, that you can have a passer, you can have that high-low look, that changes the whole game for the Illawarra Hawks. But the addition of Darius Days, do you need them to play together?
Yeah, maybe they don't.
It's a great trio right there.
This is the depth with Illawarra that we're talking about. Tyler Harvey sits down and Hwang Jung Lee checks in, who started in the first game.
Yeah, and I think he was super productive for them last season. He provided some great minutes for them, and and we know how good a shooter he is, and Justin Tatum really believes in him as a player, and it's great to see him still in the league and playing for the Illawarra Hawks, and the way he can spread that floor to allow players like Trey Cowell to get on the rim, William Hickey to get on the rim, and his shooting ability just drags people to him so they can get downhill.
That voice you can hear is Alice Kunik, part of our NBL 25 commentary team. Gold medalist here at the Commonwealth Games. I'm so sorry. I was well aware that you won a gold.
You're totally
I was
fine.
getting my Commonwealth Games and Olympics and other world events mixed up, so I apologise about that.
No, you are totally
But
fine.
legit, just for everyone viewing, the look that Alice gave me when I said bronze was like, hey, I don't roll with bronze. That's not the colour I roll with.
I have had some bronzes in my career, but no, this one was a gold. This was it was a very special gold, this one.
Now Hickey, little floater. If he can add that to his game, Davo Hickey, that ability to pull up and float in the lane, he's going to be even harder to stop.
He will, and what I really liked is the screen by Lockie Ulbrich. You know, I don't think there are enough big men in this league that can really set that screen and roll, and, you know, more times you're going to get yourself open if you set a really great screen, and that's something that I think that we need to continue to teach and develop in the juniors coming through, is setting great screens, because you're just going to open up the floor completely for your teammates.
20 points on Sunday on 8 of 12 shooting, coming off a mammoth NBL 1 season in the East Conference with Albury Wodonga.
I thought it was a cheat code every time
It was-
I would see the stats come up on Instagram. I was thinking, is this a joke?
They were video game numbers, weren't
Yeah,
they?
honestly.
Downloaded Keanu Pinder. Shot clock winds to 7.
That's a great take by Pinder. He read the defense, he gave him one dribble in the chest, and then he was able to attack him when he was a little bit off foot.
Wildcats by 1, but only for a moment. And if Darius Days can step out and shoot the 3, then this is going to be a nice fit for Illawarra.
Absolutely, just adds another dimension. He's got that little bit of Gary Clark light, but he's been impressive so far. He looks fit, he's engaged in the team defense, and that's what you want to see as an import coming into the league.
Keanu Pinder with the deep ball.
Oh, he's letting him know too.
He's telling someone about it from the Illawarra bench.
Give me another one.
Not only was he happy to verbal the finger point that went with us too, Alice, I reckon someone's had a word about something.
I'm not mad about that Darius Day shot. He's hit one. He's sensing himself out. He's sensing how he's going to fit in this team. And I'm not mad about that either. You shot one, see if you can hit another. But that's the next possession. That's when you play the team game. Have we got a score? Have we got the ball inside? Have we shifted the ball from left to right? And that's when you can shift the defense and you get a great score.
Hickey out, Days out too. Justin Tatum, as is John, really rolling through the subs. It's probably a little bit of man management coming into tonight as well, given it's a second game.
They have played a lot of basketball, and he's probably trying to look at different combinations, who works well together, who plays well together, what combinations are really going to work and get the best out of each player. And sometimes you can't just have the best 5 people on the floor. You need to have someone who's going to be able to play their role, someone who's going to be able to pass, someone that is going to play defense in the crucial moments when you need it. And that's one thing in the Blitz, that it gives us, the coaches, the opportunity to really find what works for the team.
Midway through this first quarter, Wan Jung Lee normally doesn't need much of an invitation to fire away.
Now we see Todd Blanchfield check into the game, and we know how good a shooter Todd is. We know how good a player he is. He's played 375 games in this league. I'd love to see him a little bit more aggressive this season, to come out and really show us just how, you know, we know how good a shooter is. He can shoot the lights out. I went to the Australian Institute of Sport with Todd, and we just know how good a player he is.
Yeah.
And I think if he can come in and knock down 1, 2 threes for this team, that's just going to go a long way for them to be successful. Bryce at the line once again. Locks the first.
I feel like we're going to say that a lot. Not only tonight, not only across the week, but across the season. He takes care of both. No signs of slowing down whatsoever. 17-12, the Wildcats lead. It's an interesting one with Bryce, Alice, that a lot of veterans, when they kind of get to Bryce's age in their early to mid-30s, they're looking to play less minutes and manage their way through. Not him. He wants to play more minutes, and he wants to be totally match fit heading into the season.
Yeah, I heard that his off-season, great take by Almanzo, isn't he going to be impressive here in this league? We are blessed. I'm getting him and Keanu Pinder's hair confused, though.
It is, yeah.
It's very similar.
I did their game last week in Japan, which was obviously off a monitor because I wasn't in Japan. And a couple of times I was like, who's that?
It's going to get confusing, but how exciting, how lucky we are to have him in our league. But what I heard about Bryce in the off-season is his shooting and the way he works out, 2-a-day workouts and no drink breaks, and he honestly didn't miss shots. And that just goes to show what we're seeing day in and day out, week in and week out with Bryce Cotton. He trains that way, he trains with that intent, and he plays with that intent, and that's what we love to see. And another thing, we are just so lucky to have him here in our league. He could have been in any other league in the world, and to have him here in Australia, what luck, you know, what a gift it is.
Returning Christian Doolittle with the first. So, I mean, there are a lot of Perth fans watching this, of course. Hashtag NBL25 to join us. Where did you have Perth when we were all asked to do our predictions? Where did you have the Wildcats, Alice? Can you remember?
This year or last year?
This year, coming into this year.
I definitely had them top two.
Okay.
Sydney and Perth, I think I had in my top two.
Because I need to make an apology, and I want to do it now while the Red Army
we all make mistakes.
is listening. Now, Olbrich swings to Blanchfield late in the clock. He can't get that to go.
Unlucky to see that go down, but Lockie Olbrich had that layup. He could have just gone up with that, but I love the unselfish play by him. Big man that can pass the ball is a blessing.
Wani Swakala-Bullock is re-signed with Illawarra. And a foul on the Wildcats there. Don't forget, of course, September 19. It all starts, every game live on ESPN via KO, and Sundays on free-to-air as well, which is going to be absolutely superb. But I want to take this opportunity to say that I've already got it wrong with Perth. I admit that. When we were asked to do our way too early predictions, which was about 2 months ago now, I didn't have the Wildcats in the top 6.
In the top 6?
And I am and that was pre-Dylan Windler as well.
Okay.
But if I could take that back, I would.
It's okay, we all make mistakes.
Because from what I've seen so far, they look really, really good.
They do, and we know how good John really is as a coach, and the Perth organisation as a whole. They're so impressive, they're so professional, and I'm sure they'd be disappointed if they weren't in that playoff series last season, and I'm sure they'd be wanting to go for one more. And we know they've added athleticism, we know they've added more IQ. You know, they've got players like Ty Webster who can come in and create and get on the rim. They've got Bryce, they've got Doolittle returning, which I think we don't also give Christian Doolittle enough credit. He's such a fan favourite. He's an ultimate professional. He's quiet. He goes about his business. He's not the showy, flashy player.
You don't have to draw anything up for him, do you?
No, you don't. He knows how to get a bucket. He knows how to score, and he's a great defender as well. I like that Todd Blanchfield's come into this game. He's coming aggressive. You've got to shoot your shot as a shooter.
He's been listening to you, Alice.
listening.
All those chats at the AIS back in the day.
That's just such a confidence booster for a shooter, is to see those foul shots go down, and that just really gives you that confidence to keep shooting that shot.
Been an entertaining start to this game, albeit a lot of changes from both teams, but here's Almanza rolling to the basket.
It's an impressive play and a great pass by Ben Henschel. Once again, read the defense, made the right play.
19 years of age, the next up. Ethan Almanza out of Spain.
I wonder if he's found good paella in Perth, or paella. I don't know how to say it properly.
It's paella, yeah. Pepper.
Great pass.
Do you have any recommendations? How well do you know Perth, Alice?
I played a season in Perth. I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the intent from the Perth Wildcats. They were on the offensive glass. They're up and about. They're loving it. I don't have any Spanish recommendations in Perth. But I've got a few beach recommendations.
knew you would.
Loved my time.
I knew you would.
That's a dig.
No, it's not. No, I'm just jealous that you can do it.
Sunsets and
tan.
sunrises are my favourite
Very good,
things.
very
So
good.
yeah, I loved my time in Perth, and the Perth Wildcats and Lynx are a great organisation. And
Hashtag NBL 25 to leave us your thoughts, Wildcats fans. You're going to paint the city red this year.
yeah, talk about Perth. We're heading there next week. We're all
Can't
heading
wait.
there.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Huge way to start the season. The Sydney Kings fans who are watching us, Tyler Robertson's going to join us a little bit. Like we mentally blanked for a second. I nearly called him Tyler Harvey. Tyler Robertson's going to join us in the third quarter as well for a bit of a chat. But just looking around too, it's sort of like a who's who of Australian women's basketball here tonight. I looked around and I saw the recently retired Tess Madgen not that long ago. Abby Bishop sitting in the crowd.
I love it, love it. Congratulations to Tess and the Australian Opals winning that bronze medal in Paris. So, and Abby, we love seeing her in town. We just love it. PC's here, Peter
Yeah.
Crawford, lots of Olympians in the building. We love to see it.
Tiana Mungakahi is here as well.
I
Best
love
friends
that.
with Keanu Pinder, so she's here watching tonight.
What a great event this is to have Australian basketball here, and to see, for these crowds to see these players, and for these young kids especially to see, you know, this is what you could be if you put in the work and you are a professional at your craft. You can be an NBL player.
And I've got to say, I've only been here a couple of days, but I've loved, there has not been one player that I've seen so far that hasn't signed every autograph and taken every selfie with any youngster who wants it. The tip in from Hickey doesn't go, which is part of the spirit, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
It is, and that's what leaves lasting impressions on these young kids. That one time that they saw Hickey and he signed that contract, he signed that shoe for them. That's something they're going to remember for the rest of their life.
Ulbrich trying to face up on Almanza. Kicks out to Blanchfield. The request came from Alice for him to be aggressive. So far he has
I
been.
like the shot. I like it. They might just need to play a little bit more defense. I like the intent.
And Jesse Wagstaff, at the tender age of 38, still throwing himself on loose balls.
You won't be seeing me do that.
No way.
Absolutely not. We know how big a recruit Pepper was for John Riley in the off-season. He signed a 3-year deal, I want to say. And he's got a close relationship with the Perth Wildcats and with John Riley, and he was a UC Davis College player. Spent some time in the emerging boomers under Dean Vickerman in Japan. So I know that he's going to come out. He's going to come out aggressive. He's going to want to shoot that ball and show why he deserves to be playing.
And this is the interesting thing as we see the foul there about the Wildcats, Alice, that again, like I'll admit, I've happily got it wrong. That there's more layers to their bench this year. At times they went to the bench last season and there wasn't a lot coming back the other way. This year you're going to have guys like Pepper and David Aquera as a year older, Almanza potentially if he doesn't start, Henschel. You know, they really can roll through a strong bench unit as well.
They can, and that's what wins championships, is having that deep bench. And you know, when there's a game that someone's injured, someone else can step up and really take the heat, and that's what John Riley's going to want from his group.
Looks a little calmer this afternoon, it's got to be said. John Riley got a little bit worked up on Sunday towards the back end of that game. Days inside for Peatling. That's knocked out of play.
I like that he looked for that high-low look, and it's going to take some time for them to gel as a group. He's obviously playing his first game. He's just come in, found out shoot around this morning, but I like the intent that he looked for that high-low look.
Now Lee falling away. David Aquera was just talking about, it's on the court for Perth. Hustle from Darius Days. It's only been, 10 minutes basically, but impressed so far with what we're seeing.
I am. He's got energy. He goes after it. He's aggressive on the ball and off the ball. I like that he talks to his teammates. He's engaged with his teammates defensively and offensively.
Great look for Henschel. Nice find from Harris to assess the floor well.
That's a great find, and he shot that shot with confidence. And like we said, if he wants to start and continue to play big minutes, that's what we're going to need from him. So very impressive from the youngster.
6-second differential between the game and shot clock. And Trey Kell unsuccessful. Swakala Bullock on the offensive glass. And he's at it again, Wani. Quarter time will sound. A foul at the buzzer. Michael Harris, I don't think he knows yet that he'll be shooting free throws.
That's a coach killer, that one.
Justin Tatum, let's have a look here, is headless.
Oh, looks like a travel. Oh, that's just unlucky.
Not sure there's an enormous amount in that.
Although the scoreboard doesn't depict it in the way of Illawarra, I like the intent on the offensive glass of Illawarra. Every time the shot goes up, there's 2-3 people crashing the boards, and I'm sure Coach Tatum will be really impressed with that.
And now a tech foul on Justin Tatum as well.
Won't be impressed with that.
I did say that he wasn't happy with the call. I didn't realise he was that unhappy with the call.
It's just a preseason game. We're okay.
I think it gives us an idea that this is a bit more than just a scrimmage, that both teams have had the first game, and now this is starting to look more like a proper tune-up before round one.
Of course, they're all competitors. No one wants to lose a game, and you don't come into a game thinking, oh, we're just going to take it easy this game. And I know they're competitors. They've got last season probably still in their mind, and they want to prove a point to this league that they deserve to be in that top 4 this year, and that's something that I'm questioning for them. Can they be a top 4 contender this year, Jack?
Do you think that can be?
I think if all the pieces fall into place for them, I think they definitely can.
Quarter time, the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre. Spirited contest, this one. As we said, feels more like a regular season game or something close to that. 30-16. There's that foul one more time. Justin Tatum was arguing that Darius Days basically stood there, didn't do a lot wrong. Based on that,
I think he got up in the air just that little bit as he went to shoot it, and he didn't give him a place to land. And we know that if we don't give the person a place to land, a la Bryce Cotton,
yes,
you're going to get the foul, unfortunately. And that's something that players have to adjust to in this league.
So Illawarra, Darius Days in his first game is their leading scorer. After one, he's got 7 points. The Perth Wildcats had 30 in the opening quarter, have spread the scoring around, but the story of this first term probably, Alice, is Ben Henschel, who's got 9 points.
He does, and we spoke about him at the start of the game. Can he keep that starting spot? How is he going to keep producing? And he has. He's produced. Like I said, he's read the defense well. He's created for others. He's been aggressive, and that's what you want as a youngster playing. He's not playing like a kid in this league.
Yeah.
He's playing like he knows what he's doing, and he does.
So from a player's point of view, because you've done this for years, where you essentially play the Australian summer and then you go overseas and play straight away. How good can that be, or how important is that to just continuously be playing basketball?
It's so great for you. I think, that experience for him playing with the Australian team and being around those guys and seeing just the ultimate professionals of the Australian team and learning off them, nitpicking little things, and just that consistency. As basketballers and as athletes, we love consistency, and that's what the game needs. Hard work and consistency. So I think that's been really great for him to have that off season, to work on his game, to play probably out of his comfort zone a little bit. And then he steps onto the floor with the Wildcats and he feels comfortable. Every game he gets confidence and he builds on that. And that's what an athlete does. They build on confidence. They take one day at a time and just keep building. And I've been really impressed with what I've seen so far.
Second game of the night, earlier tonight. Brisbane defeated Melbourne 111 to 104. Swakala Bullock finds his way in. It's a little bit sore with that knee as well. So Aquera, Michael Harris, Henschel, Almanza and Pepper out there for Perth. A turnover and a jam for Trey Kell. He's on the floor with Swarkler, Bullock, Days, Harvey and Froling.
Do you think Justin Tatum had Trey Cullen in his sights last season, or when do you think it?
He did have a very good game against Illawarra last season for Adelaide. And, well, I think we've seen this a couple of times with Justin Tatum. Sometimes if he sees something, he has to go and get it.
I'll take that.
I'll have that one, thank you.
Like a little kid in a candy store.
I'll have one of those and one of those.
And one of those. I think Trey Cowell's a great pickup for this group, and they've obviously done a lot of off-season recruiting. He's a big guard, he's long, he's rangy, he's got that ability to pass over the small defenders, and he can score as well. So I think it's a great pickup for the Illawarra Hawks.
I guess we'd never really thought of Trey Cowell as being a genuine point guard until midway through last year at Adelaide, did we? They changed things up. They played him at the 1 and Vasiljevic at the 2, and it seemed to work.
It seemed to work for them. He's got that IQ as a point guard. Okay, he doesn't have to be lightning quick like a Bryce Cotton. Great shot by Pepper there. But he has that strength and he has that ability to see over the defense, and I think that's another element that he can use.
Froling at high-low action. They love that play. Big man finding big man.
The high-low game is underrated. If you've got a big man that can really look, and then if the defense is helping off the shooters, then the big man can find the shooters. It just opens up the game completely for you.
And I would imagine that Coach Tatum would love to see that connection between Froling and Days, considering how little time they've actually spent with each other.
For sure, and it just shows that they're people who are buying into his system. They're players and people that he wants to coach because they're buying into his system, and that's what, as a coach, you want.
And Henschel, the game's leading scorer. Pepper knocked down one from a similar spot. Not that time, though. Illawarra on the move, and look at Froling run the floor. Athleticism from the big man. They started this second quarter well, the Hawks. Here's Pepper.
The Wildcats have got a little shot happy. Now it's time to rein it in, inside, outside. See what the defense is doing, move the defense from side to side.
What is that, as we see a foul there on Trey Cowell, what does that conversation happen like in a game, Alice, when you are getting a little bit shot happy? Is that one of the leaders that says, hey guys, come on, rein it back in, or is it a timeout situation and the coach has got to sound a reminder? Yeah,
I think the 5 on 5
this is a line change.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big reminder. Look, it's got to come from the coaching staff, and it comes from your leaders, your leaders of the group, a Bryce Cotton of the group. It's a Doolittle who comes in and says, hey guys, we've got to run this play. We've got to get the ball through a certain amount of hands. They were open looks, yes, but they weren't converting. So that's when you've got to rein it back in. You've got to look, okay, we've given up probably a little bit too many points. We had nearly a 15-point lead. Now it's a 5-point lead. So now we've got to lock in, we've got to run our stuff and play as a team. 10
points to 3 in the second term.
We know Illawarra can put on the points quickly. Yeah. That's something that they can do, and we've seen time and time again.
It's Cotton. If you need a bucket, there's your answer.
Oh my gosh. The way he moves his body in the air, the way he's able to take hits and finish under pressure, it's very, very impressive.
He makes the extra as well. The Wildcats will host South East Melbourne on Friday night in round 1. I'd be shocked if it's not already a sellout. I haven't had a look for a week or so. I'd be stunned if there was a spare ticket available for that game.
That'll be a great game, and we know that the Perth Army will be, Red Army will be in full force, the whole Payton Town Red.
And the Phoenix, we have seen once already, they played Illawarra, but I think they could be one of the big improvers of NBL 25, Alice. I really think they've got all the makings of being a top 4 team.
They do, and they've had some shake-ups of their roster. Obviously, no Mitch Creek, and Nice side set by Tyler Harvey. That's a great look by him. Mitch Creek leaving opens up so much for that team. Nathan Sobey coming in. We see Derek Walton Jr. coming in. Geordie Hunter coming from Sydney Kings. They've got the offensive pieces. It's if they can do it on the defensive end.
That's always been the question with South East Melbourne, hasn't it? And they don't necessarily like that, but from day one, that's been the biggest question mark about that team is could they defend at championship level?
And that's when it comes into, do you just let that go, or is that on a coaching staff that then says, no, we're going to make this a priority and we're going to do defense and shell drill till the lights go off in the stadium until you guys get it, or do we just play the way we play? And that's something that obviously I'm not a coach. I don't plan on being a coach.
Oh, we can rule that one out, can we?
Oh, I'm not too sure. But that's where, as the coaching staff, do they make that decision for this group? Great pass by Doolittle.
Harris cleans it up.
I love the cut by Pinder. He had his arms ready. Doolittle was able to find him. He wasn't able to convert, but Harris was cleaning up the glass for him.
Yeah, it was a big problem for them last year, their rebounding. They were bottom 3 in the competition in that stat, but this guy right here loves it. Gets out of bed and all he wants to do is rebound.
He box jumps like it's his job. It's a secret. We know the addition of Windler in this group is something that John really, really went after, and the athleticism, the rebounding ability that he has. 33 rebounds in the G League, that is insane.
In one game.
In one game. But we know that that's something that he really went after. He wanted that athleticism, and I think he's definitely found it.
Floater from Trey Kell.
Trey Kell has that poise about him. As that point guard, he's got the poise, he's able to read the defense, he's able to see what the options are, and that's a nice take by him.
Cut it back to 5, Illawarra. There's a 14-point deficit at quarter time. Quarter number 2 was where they made their move in their first game. They scored 38 on Sunday. Here's Harvey. And that's going to count. There's a foul under the basket on Dante Russo-Nance, but the 3 for Tyler Harvey will count as well.
Shooter's roll.
It's all working out for the Hawks in this term.
That's something that the Hawks have really done from the resurgence and coming in of Justin Tatum is they just hang around.
Yeah.
They don't have to be up the whole game. They don't have to be up by 10, 15, but they hang around and they never lose faith in their process, in their system. And that's something that really was great for them last season. And the belief that they all have in one another and the belief that they have in their system, it shines through. 38-36 here at the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre. Pass a bit too hot for Tyler Harvey. When you were and still are, but pre-season games, what do you as a player want to try and get out of those? Do you have your own little individual things? Okay, for this particular game, I'd love to get X, Y, and Z out of a pre-season game like this. I think as a player, you really just want to work out your teammates. You know, I've played all around the world and been lucky enough to play in different countries and obviously in Australia. But I think you just want to work. Obviously, you want to play the best that you can play every single game, and you work on your shooting and your rebounding and your defense. I know for me, probably in the later part of my career has been, defensively and just being a great teammate, being a great teammate for my team, and being a great role model, and helping that team gel together. Last season, I was unlucky to miss a lot of the preseason, and I kind of felt that I missed that preseason. I missed that camaraderie with the group because I did miss that first 5 weeks of preseason. But every player comes in and wants to be the best that they can be, and that's always been my thing, that you want to be the best player you can, but it's also about how do we build the team, how do we grow the team, that we want to be the best team that we can be this season.
And 2 more for Tyler Harvey.
That's a nice in and out by Tyler Harvey, who's able to shift the defense, and then he had that nice lefty floater.
They've worked their way back into the game, and he's taken on a bit of the responsibility for getting them there.
that's where I'd like to see that poise of Keanu pinned up. You could see Sam Froling was in front of him. Maybe it's a sidestep, a Euro step to shift the defense. We know how good he can be when he plays body ball and, you know, he's physical, he's at the rim, he's on the rim. I think the next part of his career is able to read the defense, sidestep, shift them out of the way, Euro step, up fake, get them up in the air, and then finish with an easy layup.
Timeout with 4:09 left. We mentioned earlier today it was Brisbane beating Melbourne 111 to 104. Terrell Harrison had 21 and 10. Deng Adel. Now this is a really interesting story that's developing here with Deng Adel and Brisbane. Alice had 19 points, and last time we saw him in the NBL was with Illawarra, and he looked totally bereft of confidence. But what are you seeing from the Deng Adel this time around so far for Brisbane?
I've loved everything that I've seen. I commentated a game, same thing, Melbourne United and Brisbane Bullets a couple of weeks ago down in Casey. He was aggressive, he was on the rim, he shot with confidence. But what I loved, he looked for his teammates as well. Yeah. He was able to pass the ball, he was able to read the defense and find his teammates. And we saw the same thing again tonight. He's playing with confidence. He's playing with how we know he can play, and probably a little bit better. So he's been impressive. And, you know, Nathan Sobey is a great player, great scorer. He's not there to replace Nathan Sobey. He's here to be himself. And Justin Schuller really believes in him. He wants him to get back to that great basketball that he was playing. And I think Brisbane Bullets is a great system for him. It's a
bit of a gamble, isn't it? I mean, there are, even when Deng Adel was signed, there were some people that went, okay, well, what Deng Adel are we getting? But I wonder, even just from the faith that Justin Schuller showed him, what that means to Deng as well.
Well, every player just needs someone to believe in them. And that's like everything in life. People need people to believe in them. And it's clear that Justin Schuller believes in his players. We look at Harrison and his improvement that he has had over these last year or two. As he stays healthy, I think he's in NBA contention. He is strong, he's physical, he's on the boards, his finishing ability is improved. So it's obvious that the way that Justin Schuller coaches, he instills that confidence in his players, Jack.
It's a good year for Terrell Harrison to have a good year, because there'll be a lot of NBA scouts watching Brisbane games with Rocco.
This is a great place for him to be. We know there's a lot of scouts here this week watching him, and he has played well so far. He's been the glue to that team.
Lockie Ulbrich puts that one in the front row. Pinder, last couple of seconds on the shot clock. We have Wildcats ball with 1.5 remaining off the inbound. Still wearing the face mask, Keanu?
I was just about to comment, I feel for him with that face mask. I think he has to wear it. From what I've heard, I think he has to wear it. I could be wrong, don't quote me. Great putback by Keanu Pinder to stay in the play, but I think he has to wear it. Okay. I could be totally wrong.
I think I saw something on Instagram a few weeks ago. He took it off for a practice or a game and copped another one in the face. So
faces and teeth, don't mess with that.
Not the money maker, no way. Hit me in the arm or the leg or whatever, but
anywhere else.
Not the money maker. Here he goes. The right idea. I wonder whether too it's just become used to wearing it. It's part of the game routine now.
Probably. He's obviously had to change the way his perception of the game has changed and the way he sees things. So I guess as a player you do get used to things, and then to change things so suddenly once again.
He might find himself getting a little flop warning here.
I think he wanted to get one back on Sam Froling for a few earlier possessions.
A couple of minutes before half-time.
He did get a flop warning.
Yeah, I thought he might have. Get your thoughts on something here, Alice, that is starting to do the rounds. Joe Healy, our own Joe Healy, tweeted this an hour or so. You can check it out on all of the NBL social media platforms. Interesting news out of the Blitz, and she's a news hound, Joe. She can sniff things out.
The NBL Joe is in the building. Hi, Joe.
I think she can just about hear us from where she is. The NBL have floated the idea of an all-star game this season with each of the teams. The overwhelming response was positive, but they haven't been able to lock it away from a timing perspective. They are now aiming for NBL 26. Watch this space.
I'm here for it. Bring in the all-star game. I'm definitely here for it.
I haven't heard one person so far say that they're not.
It's just a great spectacle of the game. It's fun, it's engaging, it gets the fans engaged. It's not meant to be super serious.
No.
It's just a great spectacle for the league, and great take by Doolittle, who's able to attack that closeout.
How would you do it? This is the one that, and hashtag NBL25 on X, now that it's called that, to give us your thoughts. What is the concept? Is it East versus West? Is it imports versus Aussies?
I don't think you can do an East versus West because it's only Perth.
You'd have to drag a few across, wouldn't you? Yeah, or North versus South, I think was what we used to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, Adelaide might have to go across. Who else? Maybe Cairns could be West.
It's a long way from here we are just picking cities up and moving them. So is it imports versus Aussies? Is that the obvious one?
I think it might have to be.
Imagine that. I'm going to go away and draw up.
Unless you put the teams in a hat and you made it a two. You put the teams in a hat, you made two, black versus white.
Yep.
And you made the teams evenly that way. I think that's a more fair style.
Wanjung Lee fires away. Does make you wonder what an import starting five and an Aussie starting five for an All-Star game could look like.
That would be impressive.
And of course, because Bryce isn't naturalised, he's got to play with the imports, which the Red Army hate. There
Bryce
he is.
on cue
there
once again. Professional shot maker.
At halftime, I'm going to let's have a little squiggle in the halftime break and see. We'll come back in the fourth quarter.
Let's do it.
We'll come back with our All-Star and Australian starting fives for an All-Star game. Hashtag NBL25 to leave us yours.
Ben Henschel has been great on the boards. He's got 3 boards, 2 assists, 9 points. He's able to lead the break for this Wildcats team.
Cotton almost. Tyler Robertson from the Sydney Kings will chat to us in the third quarter as well. Nice take from Wanjung Lee.
He saw Wagstaff close out to him, and he attacked that closeout, attacked the top foot, said, give me these 2 little buckets.
I think he will be another one, Alice, that'll be better for now having had a year in this competition and understanding the way that it's played, the physicality, the officiating, all of that sort of stuff.
It is hard for any import to come into a league and be a superstar straight away. You've got to learn the city, you've got to learn your teammates, obviously you know the language.
Of course.
There's so much to learn, there's so much to get used to, and players are not robots. They're not going to come in and have 20 and 20 straight away. So I think it's great for him that he's back in this system. He knows the system. He knows that he can come in and...
Nice pass.
Great pass.
Vision from Almanza, the next up.
Very nice
That's
pass.
intelligence.
That is very nice. That's that European style of game. They teach them from such a young age. Passing ability, playmaking ability, where the spots are on the floor, the way to read the defense. That's a tough shot by Cal. Almanza is long. I don't think you realise until you see in real life just how long he really is.
And also how strong Christian Doolittle is. He loves to get to that spot. That one jumps out.
He just assesses his options. He reads the defense. He almost lulls the defense into thinking he's not going to shoot it. And he has a great turnaround fadeaway.
I know where you're going.
Tongue twister. 4-point ball game, 30 seconds.
Well, from where they were at quarter time, been a much, much better quarter from Illawarra at both ends of the floor. A Wagstaff bump by Swakala Bullock. Hawks still had a foul to give.
Got Bryce Cotton brilliant, so we're going to see in the next 15 seconds.
Has 9 points on 2 of 7.
Probably not his greatest productivity or efficiency, but we know that Bryce Cotton can turn around in a heartbeat. Same play. He wanted that switch.
On the move with the left hand, exactly as you described it, Alice Kunek.
He wanted that switch, and then he attacked the defense downhill.
That is exceptional
That's a smart play by John, really. He knew that they would switch the defense, and Bryce was able to attack that.
So at the main break, 47-41. The Perth Wildcats find themselves in front over the Illawarra Hawks. Another offensively minded game, and also a little bit of feeling in this one.
There's some heat, there's some emotion. It does feel like a normal season game. I'm glad that the defense was able to ramp up a little bit. I'm sure both coaches will be going into the halftime huddle pretty impressed with their teams.
The leading scorer in the game is Bryce Cotton. He has 11 points, including that late bucket. Ben Henschel has 9 for the Wildcats. And for Illawarra, Darius Day is in his first game, Alice. I think this is one of the big takeaways from a Hawks supporter perspective, is his very first game. He only found out this afternoon that he would be eligible. He looks very comfortable, and he looks as though he's really fitted into this group.
He does look like he's fitted into this group, and that's a credit to Justin Tatum as a coach. He's able to immerse him into this group. We know he's a high caliber player, but we know he's an even better person, and that's obviously gone a long way. So he's been impressive so far. He works well with the other players. He's not selfish. He isn't coming out and trying to shoot every shot. So great promising signs for the Illawarra Hawks.
Halftime here at the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre. We'll come back on the other side of this. Tyler Robertson from the Sydney Kings, not too far away from joining us here at the bench as well. Stick with us. You're watching the NBL Blitz.
Discover the ultimate in courts, Dream Courts, the official court partner of the NBL. As the leading experts in tailor-made courts, there are so many reasons to choose Dream Courts. Whether for casual backyard enjoyment or professional-grade competition, the fully customisable courts redefine how you play. Dream Courts offers an unparalleled playing experience for everyone. Elevate your game with a Dream Court designed just for you. Visit dreamcourts.com.au to get a quote today.
Play the game any NBL fan can win. Supercoach NBL. Be the coach. Challenge your mates. Win prizes. Head to supercoach.com.au today.
Want to stay up to date with all the latest direct from the NBL?
That is enormous!
Well, download the free NBL app now. It's jam-packed with live scores, stats, exclusive content, and much more. Get it from the App Store and Google Play now. Here are some of our halftime highlights at the NBL Blitz. It's a lead for Perth over Illawarra, 47-41. If you have just joined us at quarter time, the Wildcats led 30-16. Alice Kunek, the Hawks much better in that second term, outscored Perth 25-17. What did you like more of from Illawarra in quarter number 2?
The intent, Jack. They came out, I don't know what was said in that huddle, but they came out with that defensive intent. And offensively on the other end, they were able to get better looks. They were able to move the ball through hands, and they were able to get great shots instead of good shots.
Saw Bryce Cotton just doing Bryce Cotton things, to be honest. There's no other way that we can describe it. Has 11 points. is the game's leading scorer. He's not slowing down, which is bad news for the rest of the competition.
I would not like to guard him day in and day out. No way, and especially every week. Did not envy those point guards.
We might ask our next guest if he's happy to chase Bryce Cotton around a little bit. We'll get to that shortly. Reminder as well, earlier today, Brisbane 111 defeated Melbourne 104 in the first game here at the Blitz. So we're 4 days in. We've had a look at pretty much every team now. The Jack Jumpers are the only team that won't be here for the rest of the competition. They were on the plane today to head to the Intercontinental Cup, where they'll play 3 games in the next 3 days. But this has been a lot of fun. So far in this first half, both teams definitely feel as though they're looking for more of a tune-up heading into round number 1. Alice Kunek and Jack Heverin in commentary. And one of the great things about the Blitz, Alice, is that we get to have a bunch of people roll through and have a chat to us and just get a bit of an understanding of what they're up to and what they're learning. What we haven't experienced so far with all of our guests at the desk is paparazzi following them around, taking photos and filming and all that sort of stuff. Tyler Robertson from the Sydney Kings is going to join us for the third quarter.
They're not here for us, Jack, I'll tell you that.
You are the first person we've had that you've got like an entourage all taking videos and photos of you at the same time.
No, they're my boys. I gotta love them. Gotta love them.
Are you famous? Is this what's
Definitely
going on
not.
here?
Definitely
What
not.
are you, Instagram? Are you famous on TikTok or something? Are we missing the memo here?
No.
I'm not on TikTok, but anyway.
Just a few teammates that'll give me a bit of stick after this. So.
We just got Cam Oliver on the other side of the camera. We saw Josh Bannon before taking some videos and some pics as well. How have you settled in? This is a new opportunity for you, new environment. How's it been so far?
No, it's been really good. Obviously, the group we've got is a hell of a group. Just the piece we've been able to add, improve on the Sydney team from last year, and then also just get some fresh faces back in. Cooksey returning was obviously a big signing. Getting Cam in, JA as well, and then getting JG late was big too. And so we're 1 through 12 deep this year, and I think that at any different time, we're going to have a lot of different lineups out on the floor. It's not going to be the same from game to game, and so I'm super excited for what this group can do and where we can go this season.
We may as well just put it out there, Alice. They look bloody good, the Sydney Kings. I'm not sure of another way that we can say that.
Very impressive. We heard that you had some closed-door games against New Zealand. You played New Zealand. Your defensive tent was just absolutely impressive. How have you found coming from the college system? You know, you had years at Eastern University in Portland, and then coming to the big boy league, I guess you could say. You signed a 3-year deal at Sydney. How have you found the transition coming to play in the pros?
I think it's definitely a big jump, just the pace of the game and the physicality. It's a hell of a league, and so just being able to come back, be in front of friends and family again has been awesome for me, but then also just adjusting to, like I said, the pace and the defensive intensity. Obviously, playing for Gorge, it's always going to be a defensive focus, so it's a lot of fun, something that I'm not really used to. I was more of an offensive guy in college, but it's definitely been a good change and a fun change for me, and just the different positions I'll play this year and kind of the different looks I'll get. I'll have a bit of fun chasing around some of these smaller guards, but they got to also guard me on the other end of the floor, so I'm excited for that.
Was Gorge what brought you to this team and the Kings organisation? Was it purely for Gorge, or was it the Kings, or did you want to play for Gorge? I'd love to play for Gorge, let's be real.
I was going to say, it's definitely, I've had the chance to play for his brother Kevin in high school too, so the Gorgian family and being familiar with them was definitely a big tick in the box for coming to Sydney. And then also just the opportunity that we've got, having a fresh team, everyone getting able to prove themselves again this year. And just being able to come back home and play was definitely something that excited me. And so Sydney was the team that ticked a lot of boxes for me, and it was a no-brainer just to come back and play for them.
Tyler, don't go too far. We'll learn a bit more about your story and this loaded Sydney Kings team that we've got, and we'll get your thoughts on the third quarter as well, which is coming up next. Stay with us. We're here at the NBL Blitz.
Play the game any NBL fan can win. Supercoach NBL. Be the coach. Challenge your mates. Win prizes. Head to supercoach.com.au today.
I'm thrilled to tell you about Swim Start, a game changer for our littlest swimmers. Swim Start is making waves by breaking down barriers for learn to swim lessons in Queensland. We believe every child should have a chance to learn this important skill. That's why Swim Start is offering vouchers valued up to $150 for eligible children up to 4 years of age. Parents, carers and guardians, this is your chance to dive in. Check your eligibility online and apply now to create a generation of confident swimmers. Let's make a splash together.
All right, we at Currumbin Sanctuary. We just finished our tour. Had such an amazing time. My favorite animal was a crocodile, of course. He was a monster. That's who I am, a monster. What was your favorite?
My favorite moment was seeing the little baby Joey, the little baby kangaroo, and feeding them. This was absolutely amazing.
Yep. So until next time, Preachers out.
Great to be with you for the NBL Blitz. It is proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast. Third quarter about to start between the Perth Wildcats and the Illawarra Hawks. Alice Kunak and Jack Everett in commentary. Tyler Robertson from the Sydney Kings is our special guest for this third quarter. Have you had much of a chance? I know you're sort of freshly back to Australia and all that sort of stuff. Have you had much of a chance to have a look at either of these teams so far?
This past year, obviously, Mason Peeling and Tyler Harvey was two guys that went to my alma mater at Eastern Washington, so just keeping an eye out for those guys. And I got the chance to play with Ben Henschel and Elijah Pepper at the Emerging Boomer stuff in Japan this year, so just being able to keep an eye on these two teams. But also, once I knew I was coming back to Sydney, I started to go back and watch a lot of film from NBL last year and just kind of becoming familiar with kind of the actions the teams run, but then also just the players in general too.
Now, I watched you in that Japan series. We were there for the Opals, and I have to say you were very impressive. The whole group was really impressive in that game, and that stadium was super loud. It was full of Japan fans, and it was such a great atmosphere. But what was your takeaway from that experience, and how did you like playing Vickerman and some of those guys, and what can you take into the NBL this season?
I think just learning just to play against kind of a bit of everyone, and then also just like the lineups were pretty similar to Sydney in the sense that like a lot of guys can play a lot of different spots. So we're able to go in there, play against a hell of a Japan national team who I thought had a pretty good Olympics too. And then obviously, like you said, the crowd was such an awesome place to play in front of. They were super loud, but then also super quiet, which is kind of throwing off. But yeah, it was just a great opportunity to go out there, get used to the physicality and just the pace of FIBA basketball again, coming back from college. And so being able to take that on and move into this season with the Kings.
Cotton swings to Henschel. The more we see of Ben Henschel as a starter, the more we like Alice.
It's been impressive. I like it. And that's a great find by Bryce Cotton. He drew the defense in. Obviously, two people are going to come to Bryce Cotton. Wide open three-point shot. He was able to knock it down.
One young Lee trying to access Froling underneath the basket.
Now, you played with Ben Henschel. You played with him with the Emerging Boomers. What have you seen improvements in his game? And he's obviously with the Emerging Boomers, with the Boomers in the off-season training. What improvements have you seen, and what have you been impressed with?
I think just how aggressive he is on the offensive end. He's a super long athlete and can do a lot of things on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end. So being able to play with him, I was just super happy to see how aggressive he was, especially in pick and roll situations. He's got such a high IQ, and being able to pass and facilitate for guys, but then also be aggressive and getting his own shot. So it's awesome to see that he's continued that on from Japan back here with the Perth Wildcats.
We were discussing this a little bit. There's two more for Tyler Harvey about players returning in the second year and now that they understand the league. Have you had much of a chance to talk to some of the guys you know about what to expect in the NBL? About, we were talking about the way the officiating happens and the physicality and things like that. Like, do you kind of know what you're expecting coming into the season now?
I think as much as you get told and got given a heads up, it's like nothing compared to what it actually is until you get out there.
That's in life. I'll give you that, Tim. That's everything in life. Nothing is like what you think it is.
Yeah, but no, it's been great having like kind of an older group with our group that we've got. Just being able to rely on guys. We've had a lot of different guys playing a lot of different leagues around the world. So just being able to get feedback from them, kind of how they struggled, how they did really well in their first few years, or even just moving back after college. And then just the friends and the friendships I've made from people around the league, just being able to lean on those friendships and know that obviously we're going to be competitive when we get out there against each other, but we're also there to kind of help each other work through the struggles of your first year as a pro and coming back. So no, the friendships and the people that I've known through the NBL has been great. And just being able to lean on them to give me advice coming back in.
Wildcats not happy with that call. We've already seen John Riley tossed once with the Blitz.
Let's not make it a regular occurrence.
And again, we keep harping back to it, Alice. I think what it shows is that these are more than just glorified practice games. Every team's trying to get a lot out of these. And Sam Frolic lays it up from underneath.
I think a lot of teams, bar the Jack Jumpers, are probably playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder. Perth Wildcats not being in the final series. Illawarra Hawks just missing out. Melbourne United, although we probably didn't see the best Melbourne United against the Bullets tonight, I think a lot of teams should be playing with that chip on their shoulder this season.
Yeah, we saw the Wildcats, didn't we? They got to the semi-finals and probably, I'm sure they would have loved to have had a better series than the one that they had. Would that be fair?
Absolutely. Has that been something that's been brought up in Sydney? What happened last year? Has it been Gorgon's come in? He said it's a fresh start, new coaching staff. Let's just build on the group that we've got now and let's move forward in the future.
Yeah, a bit of both. Like, obviously everyone touches on kind of the struggles that Sydney had last year in ways that we wanted to change the dynamic of the team and the group that we had. And so from the coaching staff to the training staff to all the people that help us day in and day out, as well as us players, we've just kind of wipe the slate clean and move into a fresh start. And I think it's shown in the basketball that we've been playing in the first few games that we have, is that we're all a competitive group. Everyone's happy for one another. Everyone's standing up on the bench and giving each other a bit of love. And so it's just a really fun group to play with. And I think that, like you guys said, these aren't glorified practice games. Like, everyone wants to come out there and win. I don't know basketball that wants to come out and just have fun. As much as we want to have fun, we want to win the game as well and play well individually, but as a team as well. So you can definitely see the energy, the effort, the intensity all the way through the Blitz. And so I think it's a great tournament to have right before season starts in Hoop Fest.
I'm sure Paul Smith's there with the Hoops capital and bringing it back to Sydney. Shout out to Paul Smith, our man.
Cotton upstairs.
Damn.
Look at the hops on Bryce Cotton.
He's I can't lie, he's one of my favourite people to watch.
You've got to guard that this year, you realise that.
I know, but I've loved watching his film and just seeing the way he goes about his stuff. The great things I've heard about him day in and day out, from what he does with the Perth Wildcats on the court, but also off the court. From what I hear, he's a hell of a human being, obviously a hell of a basketball player. So
he's got to be one of the most humble guys in our league. He's just so impressive. He never argues, he never complains with the refs, and that's definitely someone you'd want to mould your game on.
Absolutely.
Tyler Robertson from the Sydney Kings joining us for the third quarter. Get back to Bryce Cotton in just a moment. 56-47. Wildcats have started to open this up a bit in the third quarter. So, I mean, you might have the answer, Tyler. No one else has had the answer. He's won 4 MVPs, but you say that you've watched Bryce Cotton film. Have you got any idea how you're going to try and stop him when it comes your turn this season?
I think you got to hope and pray a little bit before the game. But no, I think with a lot of elite guards that the NBL has, just being able to learn from the film and just being able to make guys make tough contested shots each time down. You don't want to give guys easy opportunities to get to the free throw line to get them going if they're struggling, or just bail them out with easy fouls or whatever. So just being able to make every catch and every touch that they get hard is definitely something that you got to work on with a lot of those elite guys that we've got in the league.
Nice shot by Ben Henschel. He shot that in rhythm. He's confident. Love the way he's playing.
This is a big, big positive for the Perth Wildcats tonight, Ben Henschel.
What's impressed me most is his rebound ability. He's got 7 rebounds. He's equal tied with Keanu Pinder on the rebounding count, and he doesn't look like he's the biggest guy out there. But like you said, he's long, he's rangy, and he's athletic.
You'd think after last season, rebounding is going to be a team emphasis every week for Perth. Almanza inside. Over the top of Sam Froling. The Spanish next star looking comfortable. Playing good minutes tonight.
Wonder if they'll be running many Spanish actions.
I was waiting for you to say that, actually.
I had to.
It was almost too obvious.
It was just there for the taking.
That's okay.
I just couldn't.
You've got to do it. Sometimes you take the layup. 2 points is better than none.
3s are better than 2, though, let's be real.
This is true.
Absolutely.
And
we've got a 3-point shooter in the building right next to me. 3-point shooter on 3-point shooter, I'm with you. I'll take a 3 any day of the week.
Correct.
Swakala Bullock, nothing but net.
Illawarra needed that shot. They've just lost their way a little bit offensively, so that was a nice shot that really needed to go down for them as a group. Now, Tyler, have you explored Sydney? Have you been to Coogee? Have you been to Bondi? Have you taken the snaps?
A loan so that you can afford Sydney?
Yeah, that was one thing I was not ready for, but no, being able to get out, get down to the different beaches. I'm definitely a big food guy, so just being able to try different spots in Sydney, and then just being back around.
Have you been to Char Grilled Charlie's?
I have not.
Oh,
that's the
so
spot I've
good.
got to go,
Yeah.
huh?
I mean, it's just a basic chicken shop, but it's so good. Shout out to Tom Garlett. They love that place.
Yeah. No, but then also getting back to the Australian coffee.
Yeah.
Australian
There's
coffee,
nothing better.
you just can't beat it, especially coming from the American coffee. As much as I love Starbucks, just a good cafe around the corner that you can get a good coffee is just unbeatable.
And it hits the bank balance different these days as well.
Definitely being in Sydney too.
Pinder got a little, Almanza, I should say, got a little piece of that one. The Afros are going to throw a few of us this year. Pinder and Almanza together.
I love the way that Hickey can get stops and ignite their transition. And that's something that Illawarra is going to need this season, to just open up the break, grab the ball off the rim and get on the rim, the other end.
Hashtag NBL 25 to give us your thoughts on a potential All-Star game. Seeing a few tweets on it already. A couple of tweets saying, well, we as commentators don't even know what the format should be. That's right. We've got options. That's what we're throwing it out there for.
Oh, no, we're not saying we know what the format should be. That's not what we were saying. We were just saying it could be a potential option. It would be exciting for the league, for the NBL.
We've got all season to be negative. There's no need to be negative in the Blitz.
The positive thing.
Hashtag NBL 25.
Did I see a little rumor there might be an All-Star game coming back in 2026?
Yes, sir. That's what we're just
discussing.
Debating on the format of it, the best way to do it.
How would you do the format? Like a brains man.
You put me on the spot here.
I got put on the spot.
That's a good question, I guess.
I said pick it out of a hat to find the teams, because you can't go east and west. It's just got Perth and the rest of the east.
No,
I think it almost might be a decent idea to get the players to vote on mid-season who they feel like the 2 best guys in the league would be, and then have them be the captains of each team and almost do like a draft like kind of the NBA does too.
So like Team Cooks and Team Cotton sort of thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what a college education can do for you.
That is.
Yeah.
I feel like some friendships could get a bit heated there.
Yeah, what happens if
when the last kid gets picked in a thing and you just feel so sad for that last kid?
What if it's Team Cotton and Team Cooks and Bryce doesn't pick Keanu Pinder with the first pick, or Xavier doesn't pick Jalen Adams with the first pick? What happens then?
Well, like I said, we're all basketballs. We want to win. We want to win. If you don't think you can win
like that. Egos aside, leave your egos at the door, guys.
This is true.
Egos at the door.
This is true. Exactly.
Hashtag NBL 25. Let us know what you think. I think tomorrow we'll throw the challenge down for you, me, Almanza. He's fouled.
We just saw Illawarra
for us 2, Alice, and for Derek and Joel, 4 of us tomorrow will come back with a format and teams for the format.
Some
How's
options.
that sound?
Now, they're just options, everyone. They're not negative or positive.
That's
they're just
it.
options. We just saw Illawarra go into that zone, but Ben Henshaw was able to find Ethan Almanza underneath the rim. That's a great pass by him. Illawarra could be the biggest team that ebbs and flows in a game, Jack. What are your thoughts?
Their upside's massive, and you'll get an early look at them, Tyler. You've got them in round 2 in Sydney.
They always come back. They always come back.
Do. Yeah, the other thing about Illawarra, I'm not sure what either of you two think. I look at them and think they're big. They're a big, tall, strong team. You've got a guy like Trey Cal playing the one. Like they're a big team, which I think might trouble a few others.
They are big. They're long and they're ranging. To have that big 3 in the 4-5, that's something they can look to exploit this season.
Absolutely, and even like the driving lanes that would usually be open when you've got kind of smaller guys out there having the wingspans and the bigger guys playing on the floor, it definitely kind of clogs up the lane and makes you shoot some tough shots that you don't want to shoot, but you may think that's the only ones you're going to have open for that possession.
Harvey stepping back. Good time around, falling short, and Pepper on the move. Pace, strength, and skill.
That was nice. 3s are better than 2, but I like that. I'm here for it. I like the way you attack the rim, got out in transition.
The Wildcats have got this out to a double-figure lead. The ebbs and flows of this game has been fun to watch. Now, Tyler, I'm just trying to work this, try and help us make sense of this if you can. So, spent some time at Eastern Washington.
Yep.
Tyler Harvey went there. Venky Joyce, who's familiar with this league, went there as well. Mason Peatling went there.
Jacob Wiley too.
Jacob Wiley. All stand-up human beings, good basketballers. And I'm sure that at Eastern Washington, very proud of all of those. So where did it go wrong with Felix von Hoff?
I was going to say, didn't Felix go? I was waiting. Wait, Felix went there.
So, I mean, yeah, where did that go wrong?
Look, we all know how much of a special character Felix von Hoff is.
We love you, Felix.
Yeah,
if you're listening.
There's probably a story that I have to keep off there from when I was 16 and I first met Felix before heading to Eastern Washington. But no, he's a funny guy. He's a hell of a guy. But no, he's definitely had a fun time at college, that's for sure. At least from all the rumors that I've heard about it. And it sounds like not much has changed since being back in Australia.
Well, Thursday, Felix will be here at the Blitz. He'll be sitting in this chair. Maybe we might get him to do a Blitz Up Late version as well. He can do an after-hours show and tell some of those stories.
I'll be in bed, Jack.
That might not last long, the show. We'll be taken off air pretty quick.
Yeah.
Here is Mason Peatling, who we spoke about, and won.
Now, Tyler, you come from the college system, like we just spoke about, Eastern Washington, Portland. Coming into the NBL, what's something that you want to add to your game, or that you look and you think, okay, I need that to go to the next level? Have you already identified that, or are you slowly identifying that?
I think just the big thing is being able to be as impactful on the defensive end as I can be on the offensive end. Definitely challenging myself to play against the guards like Bryce Cotton, Tyler Harvey of the league when we come up and play against them. I know that it's not like I'm a poor defender, but it's something that I've definitely identified that I need to work on. And so it's definitely been great playing for Gorge and playing for the coaching staff that we have. And we've got a lot of guys that are more than happy to play on the defensive end. So that's definitely a big focus for me coming in, and just being able to find a way to impact on the offensive end, whether it's bringing the ball up and giving JA a bit of a break, or even just knocking down shots when I get open. Just finding a way to impact on both ends of the floor right away and play myself into a role.
For sure, and you know that will come week in, week out. You build confidence, and defense, we know, is such an effort-based thing. And it's all about how much emphasis you put on it. And obviously having Gorge and that coaching staff that put such an emphasis onto it, you're only going to get better week in, week out.
Absolutely, and just I feel like the strides I've made in the first 5 or 6 weeks that I've been with the Kings has definitely come a long way from college, and so I'm just excited to continue to be able to work on that side of the ball. And continue to get better each and every day with the group that we've got.
For sure.
Free throws for Mason Peatling, who had an injury interrupted. NBL 24, ended up seeing 27 games, but fractured cheekbone in the early stage of the season, disrupted things. Another one of these players that we talk about, Allison Tyler, that when we talk about the size of this Illawarra team, he just adds to that. He's big, he's long, he's strong underneath as well.
He's a hell of a rebounder too.
Nearly got his own rebound on the foul shot.
You can get a job doing this, Tyler, and you keep predicting things like that.
Don't give up your day job, Josh. Yeah. Your career's just starting.
That's it. You get a long time to sit here at the desk and talk about how it should be. That can come later in life. Ulbrich getting to work on Almanza.
For a young guy, he's got poise. He reads the game, he assesses the game, he assesses his options. I like that he's got that poise about him.
– 53 seconds left in this third quarter. Just as we said that Perth had got it out to double figures and were looking in control, Illawarra have scored 8 of the last 10 points in the game.
Hang around, don't they?
That's exactly what you were talking about before. Turnover, a rare one for Perth. Here's Ulbrich! Off the lob from Swakala Bullock. Buys shares in this young man right now.
I think a lot of NBA scouts will be pretty impressed by seeing that. I'm sure a lot of Illawarra fans.
Lonnie Swarker's put together a nice third quarter here, too.
He's been aggressive. He's able to shoot his shot. He's been attacking on the rim, out in transition, making a great pass. That's what you'd want as a coach to see your players do.
There's the lob.
We don't really have that in the women's game, but I feel like that would be hard for the timing to get that lob right, or is it an easy thing?
Look, I'm not one that usually plays above the rim, so
I mean passing wise.
I was going to say, I'm usually the one throwing the ball, so I just put it up there and hope that one of the guys go and grab it.
Elijah Pepper doing Elijah Pepper things, knocking down that 3 ball.
I think you'll have some fun throwing some lobs to Cam Oliver this year.
Absolutely. I've thrown a couple to him in practice, and he definitely loves a highlight reel, that's for sure.
Jump out of the stadium almost.
That's 4 now on Lockie Ulbrich. I don't think that Illawarra have worked out yet that the foul is on them. There we go. There's the reaction.
Hickey is not impressed.
So shot clock switched off. Last play of the third term.
This is great for Pepper to get this experience. 11 seconds, Bryce Cotton's off the floor. What play is he going to run?
Down to the next start. He can't score, and Peatling can take care of things to three-quarter time. 68-62 here at the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre. Now, a couple of times in that third quarter, Perth looked as though they were getting away, but Tyler, I think you're about to learn pretty quickly that this Illawarra team is a hard one to put away.
Absolutely. I've been able to watch, like I said, being able to watch Tyler Harvey and Mason Peely, and also Sam Froling that I got the chance to play with in Japan too, and growing up against them. The competitive nature of those three alone, I know is 3 guys that are never going to let a game get away from them. So they're definitely an exciting team to watch for sure.
Have you started to think about, I mean, they're all opponents at the end of the day. There's some of the shooting stats from the third quarter. Both teams not exactly shooting the lights out from outside, but have you started to think about a couple of players that you're looking forward to playing against this season?
I think it's more just like getting back and playing against like guys that I've either grown up around or watched growing up. Like I think of a guy like Sean McDonald. I grew up playing with him a lot. And just being able to come back and be able to challenge myself against him. He had a hell of a final series, and I know that's going to lead into his season again this year. So just those type of guys. Obviously, I get to play alongside Kelly LePepe too, who was a high school buddy that I've grown up around. So those type of guys are the ones that I'm looking forward to playing against. But just being back in the league, you see a guy like Bryce Cotton who's done a lot of great things in the NBL, and so he's a well-known name, and getting to challenge yourself against that type of talent is something you don't get to do every day. So just excited the opportunity to challenge myself against those elite guards that the NBL has. And then obviously challenging myself for a championship too is something you always want to do as a player.
Actually winning a championship, wouldn't that be nice? We know that you've had a great college career, but this is almost like a new, fresh start. You know, the slate's clean. You get to not that you had a great college career, but you get to kind of identify what you want to be as a player and cement yourself in the league as a really great player, great shooter, great defender, and to do it at the Sydney Kings is a really great place to be.
Absolutely. The fans from all I've heard are the best in the league at Kudos Bank Arena, so I can't wait to get back in front of them and play our first game and have a large crowd against this Illawarra team. The Freeway Series is a big one, and it's always hyped up. So
we commentated that game last year, Jack, at the end of the season. That was a great game. Illawarra got ahead. It was a great game. Packed out stadium.
Hopefully the result's a little different this time.
Both teams playing to win by the look of things. Is Dante Rosso and Ants. Ball knocked out of play. 68-64. I only have one other question on the Sydney Kings, Tyler.
Yeah.
What's in Brian Goorjian's bum bag?
I actually asked him the same thing probably 3 days ago because I always see him wearing it. And I never actually asked what's in it, but he said it's just packed with all the things that he finds himself losing all the time. So it looks like it's pretty heavy, so I can't imagine the amount of things that he loses on a daily basis.
He doesn't strike me as a guy to lose things, though.
No, he seems very organised, doesn't he? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't strike me as the guy to lose stuff. What's he losing? His keys? Gorge, what are you losing? Need to know.
He's mine when we're not playing well.
So I was going to say, if you don't play defence, I know what he will be losing. Are you the sort of guy that likes to go full throttle in pre-season? Are you happy to ease your way in, or do you like to get out there and really hit the ground running?
I think for being like a first-year guy, and I think a lot of the younger guys in the league probably have the same opinion, is that it's a great opportunity to build a role for yourself, especially leading up into the season.
Three ball counts for Harris.
It's just an opportunity to continue to build a name for yourself, gain a bit of respect around the league, but also prove to your coaching staff and your teammates why you belong out there on the floor with them. And so I know that I go 100% of the time at 100% of my ability when I'm out there, because I'm still trying to carve out a role for myself and a consistent role. And so being able to string together some good games at the Blitz is putting steps forward to that role.
$72-64 at the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre. A Cal, nice pass for Todd Blanchfield. The connection from Illawarra has been good tonight. Pepper swings, Russo Nance. And look at Will Hickey. We talk about guys playing at full throttle. He only knows one way. Points are waved away. It hasn't taken Darius Days long to learn that you can coach his challenge. He wanted one straight away.
Not even 40 minutes.
That's his first game, and he's already got the confidence to tell the coach to challenge.
He must have saw Kyle Bowen do it before and thought, I'm doing that. Whatever that is, I'm here for it.
Let's have a look here. Offensive foul.
That's a no call to me. He didn't let him land.
If I'm Darius Days, I'm asking for the and one on that.
Yeah. It's a no call on and one. I don't think he had his feet across the time.
Was there a little sidestep from Russo Nance at the point of contact?
Now, the NBL told us during the week when we had our meeting that we're getting rid of those camera views.
Yes. The
I'm sure
up the nose vision.
I'm sure the refs are very happy about that.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see some changes for NBL 25. The up the nose camera is gone, which is great.
I think everyone's happy about that one.
I think the referees in particular are happy with that.
They never seem phased though. They're always calm.
No.
True professionals.
I think some of them, more than others, quite enjoyed the camera time as well. Just a little bit of hang time.
We won't name names. Jack?
Well, yeah, we definitely got a guy on our team, Xavier Cooks, loves a bit of camera time. So
doesn't he just?
I'm sure he's tuning in right now, and he's probably going to give me a bit of stick when I get back, but I thought I'd name drop him again a little bit.
Now now Zabe has spent some time away from the Kings. He played for Washington and spent some time in Japan. What have you noticed in his game? Did you know him enough before he went away? What has he added to his game?
I think he's definitely more confident looking at the three-point shot. It's definitely something he works on every day after practice, and we're continuing to encourage him to shoot it. There's going to be times where he's going to be open, and it might be the best shot that we've got in a possession. And so him having the confidence, us and continuing to instill that confidence in him, and I think that he's a major problem on the defensive end too, and just his ability to be able to guard 1 through 5, affect a lot of shots at the rim. Has definitely been something he's continued to add to his game, and is why he's one of the best players in the league, if not the best player in the league.
Dara's Day stepping out for 3.
The way Zabe gets vertical, it's such a problem for defenders, and his athleticism and the way he can get on the rim is something that's really impressive. But
I was going to say, we did see it the first play of last night, that dunk that he got up for. I wasn't quite expecting it, but
not sure the opposition were either, to be honest.
I was impressed, that's for sure.
There's that foul call on Michael Harris.
once again, it's a 5-point game.
Yeah.
They just hang around.
Both teams coming off wins in their first game of the Blitz. It's all brought to you by Experience Gold Coast. Wonderful supporters. Not only the NBL, but Australian basketball as a whole. How do we think a team would fit in here at the Gold Coast in the NBL?
Very nicely.
Absolutely. Sure, there'll be a lot of players in the league happy to play for the Gold Coast with the weather up here.
If you want a women's team, let me know. I'm also happy to play up here.
Thought you might be available for
I'm
that.
very much available.
Not for this season, of course.
Not for this. I won't tell you where this season. It's coming out on Friday.
Oh, that's right. I nearly said it, actually.
It's coming out on Friday, but not for this season, no. I'm very happy where I am this season.
All I'll say is it's in Australia. That's all I'll say. David Aquera comes in. Ethan Almanza checks out of the game.
Now you got me wanting to find out where she's playing.
I'll tell you in a minute.
That's a secret I won't tell, Gossip Girl.
And there is Aquera straight in and into the action.
Someone that needs no confidence to shoot the ball or be told to shoot the ball is Elijah Pepper. I love it. Coming in, stroking the ball, shooting with confidence.
Harvey, speaking of not needing an invitation to shoot. 5-point lead to Perth. Doolittle in transition. Bottom of the net. Both teams have improved their shooting clip from half-time.
Doolittle's got a quiet 12 points. It's just doing his thing.
Just accumulates, doesn't
Accumulates points.
Yep. Technical foul on the Wildcats after that bucket. So we see you guys tomorrow night, Tyler?
Yep. Exciting game for sure.
What can we expect? What defensive masterclass can we expect from Gorge?
I don't want to give out the scout too early, but no, just up the floor, making guys change directions, making each possession tough for Southeast. They're obviously a hell of an offensive team and have a lot of weapons, so being able to slow some elite scorers down is going to be a must for us to continue to stay in the game for the full 40 minutes.
Doolittle in the open court, upstairs.
The NBL Instagram's going to be wild this season.
Sure
There's
is.
so many dunks, so many highlight reels. And another one.
Dead 3 from Tyler Harvey. They just persist, the Illawarra Hawks. We said that a lot tonight. Hitchell at the other end, growing in confidence with every minute we see Ben Hitchell. If he's got his eyes on starters' minutes, he's making a really good claim tonight.
What I like about the Perth Wildcats offense is they just run simple basketball. First side, second side, they get the big up into the high post and they play off that pinch action. And they just play simple basketball, so it's good for their players to read effectively.
Free throws to come for David Aquera. Tyler, we need to let you go. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight. We're so excited to have you in the league this year, hopefully for a long time. And well, I think you've picked a pretty good place to play basketball in Sydney.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on air.
A little under 5 minutes remaining.
The Illawarra have another comeback.
I think if the trend is your friend, which it is, then yes, Alice, I think they do have another comeback in there somewhere for sure.
I would love to get a statistic on the amount of times they let it go to 10 points, bring it back to 6. Paparazzi's leaving us. That's nice.
Yeah, they're not
very stressed.
They're not that interested now, are they? Tyler Robertson's gone. Harvey no good. Peatling cleaning up the offensive glass.
We spoke about how relentless they have been on the boards, and that's what someone like Peatling can do to stay in the game and get himself into the game. Cheap, easy basket, gives yourself confidence and helps your team.
Jesse Wagstaff not getting away with a little nudge. So what's the verdict, Alice, going into round one? I mean, no Ty Webster tonight that we mentioned earlier. Dylan Windler also not playing. If we assume that everyone is available for Perth in his first game against South East Melbourne, could you see Ben Henschel starting? I'm putting you on the spot here.
You really are putting me on the spot. I'd love to say yes and reward him for how good he's been playing, and we know that John really, really believes in him. But we also know how good a player Ty Webster is, and that's the payoff. What do you get? Do you have Henschel come in as a spark off the bench to play with confidence? There's no pressure when you're coming off the bench. He can come in. He doesn't have to play with Bryce. He can play kind of off the ball, that second string of players. Or do you have Ty Webster in that role? I think both options are really good options, to be honest.
I think I would have loved to potentially get a few more minutes into Windler before round one, but the ankle injury it's not a serious one from what we're told, but it's enough just to keep him out.
Perth look like the real deal at this point.
Yeah, they do. I've issued my apology, and a few of the Red Army have reached out on Twitter and said they accept it, so thank you. Some don't, and I've got to live with that.
At least you were able to realise your mistake.
That's true. That's true. Zach Triplett coming in for the first time tonight.
We know how great a shooter that Zach Triplett is, and hopefully he can find his rhythm in this game. 3 minutes 27 to go.
Spent some time with Melbourne, spent some time with Brisbane. Hasn't had a lot of opportunity in either of those situations.
It is hard. They're both really great teams. Melbourne United, who are you going to play over? CG, Ian Clark, Shea Illy. They're incredible players, and you know, he's young. He's got a great career ahead of him, and hopefully he learnt a lot off those players and was able to add good strings to his bow.
At 10 points is the Wildcats' lead. Wagstaff. Pepper crashes the offensive glass.
He's been impressive tonight. He's played with confidence.
Good look rattles out for Ben Henschel. Offensive rebounds, we spoke about it being a premium for the 18 for the night the Wildcats have had.
It's obviously something that John Riley's really harped in on, especially in the off-season, to crash that offensive glass. They've added the tools that they can. Nice hit by Tyler Harvey. We know that he can do that probably with his eyes closed.
Soka Michael Harris at the other end.
Defensively, that's just a breakdown by Illawarra.
Yeah.
You make the 3 down one end, you've got to sprint back in transition.
Jesse Wagstaff, who will start the season with more than 400 games to his name.
Does he have the keys to the city?
He
Surely.
should. He should.
Is there a plaque? I need to know.
Well, he's a ring collector. I'm sure he's a plaque collector at the same time.
Get him the keys to that city. Saw Damien Martin in the building. Perth legends. We love to see it.
474 to be precise.
That's a great take by Todd Blanchfield. Able to cross his man over and take the finish and finish strong.
Wouldn't shock you to see these two teams in a semi-final series, would it? At the back end of NBL 25.
No, it wouldn't. I'm calling those two in my top 4. It definitely wouldn't shock me. This league is just so good.
Yep.
Anyone can win on any given day. The talent is, you know, you talk about a guy like Zach who's trying to make a roster. That's because the league, great block. That's because the league is so strong, it's so deep, and any team can win on any given day. So you've got to show up every single day, or else you'll lose a game. You'll drop a game on the road, and we know how crucial it can be to win at home, and especially for wins down the line in the season.
Tomorrow at the NBL Blitz, a couple of very, very interesting games. They're all interesting, as Alice said. The competition is so even this year. New Zealand and Adelaide will be first up in the early game.
I've got that game. That'll be an exciting game.
And then Sydney and Southeast Melbourne to come later on in the evening. The Breakers, it's going to take a little while for it to come together. Pepper for 3.
He does not need any daylight.
So I think the two big takeaways for Wildcats fans is that it looks as though the rebounding has improved and the three-point shooting has improved from last season.
And the IQ's improved. I've really been impressed with how they've read the on-balls, they've read the defense, they've played first side, second side. Pepper goes for it again. I've really been impressed with their IQ and the way they've played the game and read the defense.
Point lead to the Wildcats.
Can they bring it to 6, to 5?
Well, that'll help. A turnover from Perth.
Now, is there anything you want to do in the Gold Coast, Jack? Have you got your sights set on any of the theme parks?
I'm running out of. I'm only here until tomorrow night. I'm home on Thursday morning. I'm running out of time. I would like to play golf tomorrow morning, to be honest, but it's going to rain from the sounds of it. So
Okay.
I'm tipping you don't want to play golf, Alice?
No, I think I'll leave that to the boys to
Counts
play
you out of
golf.
that one?
I think I'd rather watch grass grow, to be honest. Driving range? Yes,
Okay.
all for it.
Okay.
18 rounds of golf? Oh my God, no.
Well, there is a driving range where we're staying, so you could
Stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Might swing at some balls tomorrow.
Okay. Pepper into the corner. Aquera the extra pass.
Unlucky to get that to go down, but I love the extra pass. I love the unselfish play by the Wildcats. Great take by Triplett down the other end. I like to see that. It's hard to do. He's sat for probably an hour and a half. Then he comes on and he's aggressive. It's really nice to see.
charge on Dante Rosso-Nance.
Great defense by Zach Triplett.
Well, it's back to 7, just like you said.
They never go far.
And a timeout by the Hawks. Try and draw something up. And get a little bit closer again.
I'm being honest, you need a 3. Or do you just go for a cheap 2?
Well, this is... Put your coach's hat on for a sec. What would you do?
That is I would run a play that you could potentially run down the stretch in a season. Where's a play? We've got 37 seconds left. We need to win a game. I want to run a play that we can really run. I would go for the 3, to be honest.
I kind of thought you'd say that.
Go for the 3 any day. But it's also about putting guys in the right positions. What personnel do you have on the floor? Who do you want to get the ball to? Who do you want to be the decoy player? These are all things that I'm sure Justin Tatum's really thinking about.
A lot of debate on the All-Star game as well. I think we've opened a can of worms here. We'll pick up this conversation tomorrow. In the meantime, hashtag NBL25 to leave us your thoughts.
What's the consensus around X? What are other people saying?
Oh, there's some that are saying that they liked Tyler's idea of like they do in the NBA, where you have 2 captains and pick teams. Others are very interested in imports versus Aussies game. Must admit, I sort of started squiggling at half time.
I did see that. I saw that.
I stopped because I need to put more thought into it, but it could be fun.
You see Illawarra run that elevator play to get Lee open for the 3. Nice putback by Beatley. I love his aggression on the glass. He doesn't give up. That's going to get him minutes in this team this season. It's a pretty stacked roster. So him being aggressive and attacking the glass is going to see him on the floor.
A bit of match simulation from Perth to take care of the clock as well. Nurse this lead all the way to the end. Harris. Great way of finish for Perth. It's been a very strong outing from both teams. Lee off the window.
And the bank to finish it.
The late night banking on the Gold Coast. It's the Wildcats who come away winners. That's a very good idea. 98-93 the final score. The Perth Wildcats go 2-0 at the NBL Blitz, and 2 very, very deep teams went head-to-head. That was a really entertaining game.
It was a great game of basketball. Like we see Illawarra just stay around, they hang around. They're still finding their feet. Darius Days has just entered the NBL group chat. He's just entered the building. We like what we see so far. I think this is only their 2nd game with Justin Tatum, or maybe their 3rd game with him as head coach. So they're going to improve, but they've been impressive so far.
What about from a Perth perspective, Alice, that they have played a lot more games together because of the recent Japanese tour that they were on? Does it look that way to you? Does it feel like a team who are a bit more in sync right now?
It does. People know where they're meant to be on the floor. They know their positions. They know the reads. So if something's cut off, then they know the big man will flash and then they'll go 2nd side or 3rd side. I think Bryce didn't even play maybe the last nearly 10 minutes almost. But their 2nd string of players were really impressive. They came on aggressive. They came on not scared. They came on confident. Elijah Pepper ran the team. Ben Henshaw ran the team. He was really impressive, these young guys. So I think Perth are going to be a great team to watch this season, and I know they're going to play with that chip on their shoulder, like we said before, missing out on that grand final series. So looking forward to watching them this season.
Ben Henshaw, the leading scorer for the Wildcats, finished up with 18 points, 10 rebounds and 3 assists. He was plus 14 in his time on the floor. I loved it. I'm an unabashed Ben Henshaw fan. I don't apologise for that. And tonight was a good reason why, I think.
He was really great tonight. I'm not mad about the 4 turnovers either. That's something that he's going to find his way. He's making the decisions. At least he's trying to make those passes. So I'm not mad about those turnovers. What I'm really impressed about was his rebounding and his aggression on the ball.
Christian Doolittle, 14 points. Bryce Cotton, as Alice said, only played 20 minutes in the game and finished with 13 points. 12 from Michael Harris. Some nice minutes off the bench as well. It was 3 of 4 from outside. And Elijah Pepper, another good story for Perth tonight. 17 points, 7 of 14 from the field, 3 rebounds. Good energy out there as well.
he's going to be great for them coming off the bench. He's come in, he's confident. We know that John really, really wanted him this season.
Really?
Really? We know that he's coming in confident. He's a shooter. He's going to get reps up. 3 of 9 from the 3. I think he played a really good 20 minutes there tonight. He was effective. He was aggressive. And I know that when the season starts, maybe those minutes might come down a little bit, but at least he's getting that experience. And I'm sure that, just like Tyler said, every day at training, he's going to be pushing those big guys to get better, to get more minutes.
For the Hawks, their leading scorer was Tyler Harvey in the game, 6 of 15 from the field. They got 15 points from Sam Froling to go with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. And our first look at Darius Days in Illawarra uniform as well. 14 and 7, had 4 fouls in the end. What did you see that you liked?
In 21 minutes, just playing with your team, I was really impressed with him. He was aggressive on the rim. He was able to shoot the 3. He's able to spread the floor. Like I said, he was engaged with his teammates. He was encouraging. He was talking the defense. And that's what we said. We like to see that as an import. We want to see them come in and be engaged and play with the team. You're going to be with this team for the next 6 to 7 months.
Yep.
So you've got to buy in really quickly. And I really liked what I saw from him.
So Illawarra have got one more game remaining. They'll play Thursday. They'll play Thursday. They will against Cairns at 7:30 p.m. Perth, likewise, have got one more game in their NBL Blitz campaign. They will take on Melbourne, 5 p.m. on Thursday. That'll be a very, very interesting game to watch as well. Final takeaways from tonight, Alice. What have you seen that you liked?
It was a great game of basketball. It was high quality. It was high IQ, high energy. Both teams I think we're going to see in the final series. I'm picking both these teams in my top 4 this season. So really impressed. What a great thing we have here in the Gold Coast, the NBL Blitz. So what a great game of basketball it was. How about you, Jack?
I just love this. I thought both games tonight felt more like regular season games. Just the intensity and even just the coaches marching down the sidelines. That was more like it, I reckon.
Yeah, it was. And you can see the energy and the passion within these coaches, just how much they want to win and how much they want to win for their group. And I'm sure these teams are going to go deep into the finals.
Thanks so much for being with us across the night here at the NBL Blitz. Day 4 done and dusted. Tomorrow we're back. Check your local guides, of course, or jump on the NBL social media. New Zealand and Adelaide first up, and then Sydney take on Southeast Melbourne in the later game right here at the Gold Coast Convention and Leisure Centre. Great work by you, Alice.
So great, Jack, as you as always.
See you
Superstar.
tomorrow on behalf of Joel Peterson, Derek Rucker and our team as well. Thanks for being with us tonight. We will catch you tomorrow for Day 5 of the NBL Blitz.